Hi, my name's Tom Culley and I'm a Networks degree apprentice. Today, I'm here to talk to you about my journey as a young apprentice ambassador from when I was in school to where I am now, a few of my top tips and some advice that I'd like to share. So, what are my current roles and responsibilities? What do I do? So, as a networks degree apprentice, we have so many teams across the business. And particularly, I work in a team called Core Capacity Integration, which probably means absolutely nothing to you, but that's absolutely fine. So, as a networks degree apprentice, I work in a team that's responsible for national critical infrastructure. So, what that means is that we are working on services that impact kind of like the emergency services, 999 services, anything kind of critically important to the UK, such as government services as well. So, we provide access to lots of different people, including the 999 network. What we actually do day to day is we integrate new components, so new circuits, new routers, and other equipment that keeps us all online across the country. It's really kind of, it's not making the teas and coffees. It's not something where you put on a test network or anything. From day one of your apprenticeship, you're working on the real life network, on real life customers, real life services, which is just a fantastic opportunity to have as an apprentice. We spend time on the phone with engineers. So the way this works is, as you can see from the picture on the right, that's usually what my screens look like on a day-to-day basis. An engineer will call in, we'll have a chat with them, find out what they need us to help them with. And while they're making physical changes in our telephone exchanges all across the UK, we are behind the scenes making the changes on the equipment that they're touching physically to bring those services to our customers as quickly and as efficiently as possible, and also testing that everything works well as well. So as well as that, I spend a lot of my time as a young apprentice ambassador, going out to schools, sharing my story, of which I'm also a co-chair in the London region as well, something that I'm massively passionate about and something that I really, really enjoy. So there are plenty of opportunities to get involved with opportunities outside of BT or outside of your company on an apprenticeship. So the recruitment process, I'll walk you through that. And I guess a lot of you might be kind of completing recruitment processes looking a little bit like I do on the right hand of the screen here, especially in the kind of stage we are now. But BT's application process is run entirely direct through our website. So you don't kind of apply for it through kind of like Indeed or the Find an Apprenticeship website. It's all done directly through our own website. There are 4 parts, 3 of which are completely digital, and the last one where you would be invited to come into our offices, or at the moment they're being delivered virtually as well, kind of on a Zoom call, on a Teams call, or something like that. So that's an application form, which is really kind of just to get to know you, really get some basic information from you, your name, your address, your right to work in the UK, all the boring stuff that we've got to do. The second one is an online exam. Now this is kind of to work out what decisions you might make in the workplace. So for example, we might say to you, if X happened in the workplace, what would you do? A, B, C, or D. So it's usually multiple choice. So it might be that your line manager's given you an extra piece of work to do today. How are you going to get it done? What are you going to do? Are you just not going to do it? Are you going to ask a colleague for help? Are you going to work overtime to do it? Or are you going to just tell your line manager no, for example? And that helps us understand what kind of decisions you would make in the workplace and what kind of people we might want to recruit. Following that is a video interview. It's a little bit different to kind of how you might have thought a video interview is. It's not actually sat talking to someone. It's kind of an automated system where a question will come up on the screen, and at that point you will kind of answer it back to the camera. But at that time it's really important because we're going to see your passion, we're going to see your enthusiasm, we're going to be able to tell if you really want this. So definitely come across passionate, definitely come across as though you've done your research as well, because that's really important to understand what BT does, or whatever company you're applying for does, and what's going to get you in. The final stage is an assessment centre, which I have a few tips for as well. All assessment centres vary. They usually have like a face-to-face interview and a group exercise, but every single one is different. My first tip would be work constructively with other candidates. So it might be that there are 10 of you at an assessment centre and all of you could have the opportunity of getting a role if you meet the requirements. It's not often a case that there are 20 of you in a room and only one of you is going to get it. So work constructively with them, because that's going to come in really useful during your group exercise to really have that good rapport with the other applicants. Being a leader doesn't always mean being the loudest. So, you could be the one saying, oh, let's do this, let's do that. But actually what we're looking for is people to say, X person, what do you think? Bring people into the conversation. So if somebody around in your team hasn't said much, invite them to contribute. Say, what do you think? Because you as a leader want to be able to hear the whole of your team's thoughts and get those inputs in. Timekeeping is so key, and it's really easy. Just say, as soon as your session starts, or especially when you're working with others, just say, okay guys, I'll keep track of the time. We've got 20 minutes. I'll update you every 3 or 4 minutes, for example. And that just keeps the team together. It keeps you on track towards your goal. And most importantly, be you and be passionate. We're not recruiting somebody who you want to be. We're not trying to recruit somebody who you were. We are recruiting you now, who you are, and why you want to be there, or why you want that role. So be passionate, come across enthusiastic, and just be yourself, because that's ultimately who we're recruiting at the end of the day. Why I think apprenticeships are great. So an apprenticeship is a job, most importantly, and often people kind of look past that, is that you are going to have a full-time role on an apprenticeship. I work 4 days a week. That 5th day is spent doing university work. I'm contracted 5 days a week, so I'm paid for 5 days a week, and I'm treated just the same as any other colleague. I'm given the same opportunities to kind of get involved with new things. So yeah, it's just as much a job as anyone else thinks, and don't think you're going to be making the teas and coffees, because my experience definitely hasn't been that way. For degree apprenticeships, you could be in for getting a free degree. Like I say, in my scenario, I'm going to have 4 years worth of work experience, 4 years worth of pay, and no student debt and a degree. So absolutely amazing for me. It's not for everyone, but definitely consider it, because it's a massive benefit. It's £9,000 a year that you could be saving. So definitely consider that. Valuable work experience. Like I say, the degree, the work experience, and the pay is just absolutely amazing. You can kickstart your professional career. You can start networking professionally, and sharing that experience, because what I learn at university is very different to what I do day to day. And there's only a few kind of parts that really match up. So you need to develop yourself in both areas. That's what I'd say. Opportunity to impact real customers. And I guess this one is a little bit more personal to me. I take great satisfaction in seeing the work that we do benefit our customers, bring services to our customers, especially during COVID-19, when most of us have been at home, keeping in touch with our family over kind of FaceTime or Zoom or whatever that platform may be. And that's really important, because we've needed that more than ever, and to be able to be part of that, I think has really been amazing for me. So yeah, you're going to be impacting real customers and real people. And also you get access to a lot of student benefits, as well as receiving a salary. So the student benefits that are designed for those students who don't receive a full-time salary, I'm afraid you're going to get both, which is just brilliant. Student beans, uni days, all of those kind of good things, which save you a bit of money, which is great. So my advice to others, and this is where I'm going to kind of bring my presentation to a close, is keep your options open. There are eight employers that you can see on screen now, IBM just behind my head, and they are all companies that I applied for with apprenticeships. And you can't kind of apply for 2 and be unsuccessful for 2 and then give up. I applied for 8, I was unsuccessful in 7, but I got 1 in the end, and that was the most important thing. I also applied for university, which is a fantastic opportunity as well if you're really not sure about university or apprenticeships, so definitely apply. And also keeping my options open even further, I ended up getting an offer at BT for the apprenticeship, but I also got an offer to study at the University of Kent for computer science. And what I decided to do was, rather than just ringing up the University of Kent when I decided that I wanted to go to BT, rather than just ringing them up and saying, I'm not going to take the offer, what I actually did instead was rang them up and said, could I defer it from September 2018, which is when they'd offered me the start, to September 2019. And they said yes. And what that allowed me to do was actually have something to fall back on, so that if I didn't enjoy my BT apprenticeship, I could still go to the University of Kent the next year, which was just a fantastic opportunity to have. So keep your options open. You can make it work for you. Never give up. Like I say, 8 applications I had to do there, and 7 were unsuccessful. If I'd have stopped after 3 or 4, I wouldn't be at BT today. So definitely keep your options open. And in that essence, resilience is key. Take the feedback that other employers are giving you. If they don't kind of give you anything straight away, ask for it, because that that feedback is going to be really valuable to your resilience to come back and reapply for another organization or another scheme. Develop your soft skills. So I always say to people, get involved with things outside of school, extracurricular activities, whatever it may be, because that's what makes you who you are. Yes, you can have A's and B's in maths and English and science or whatever it might be, but that doesn't make up who you are. What you do outside of school, the volunteering that you do, any extracurricular clubs, sports, whatever you do, builds who you are. And you will reference that during your application. You will be asked questions such as, can you tell me a time when you've shown good resilience? And for example, being tackled during a football match, getting up and pushing on is a key example of resilience. But often people don't link what seems like quite a typical thing that happens all the time, being tackled at football club every week, to a skill that makes you employable. So definitely recognize those. Don't jump to conclusions about what some companies do. For example, PwC is a financial firm. I still applied for a technology role because they have technology roles. At BT, we have business management roles, project management, product management. We have HR apprenticeships. We've got so many different apprenticeships in so many different spaces. So don't think that just by applying for BT, you're going to be working on Wi-Fi and broadband, because you're probably not. I think we probably recruit apprentices into more areas that don't work on Wi-Fi than do. So definitely recognize other companies and find out what they do. It might be a really interesting company or someone who you might want to work for. Check out a page called Vacancy Snapshot. It's one that I really recommend. It's got a lot of the big brands that you would have heard of who recruit apprentices, and it just makes you think, oh, actually, I would quite like to work for, I don't know, Coca-Cola, for example. So definitely check out Vacancy Snapshot. You can just Google Vacancy Snapshot, and it's really, really helpful. And ultimately, to close, be yourself and be passionate. Nobody can be you, and you are your own person. The employers will see you as your own person as well. So just be yourself, be honest, and come across with that passion and enthusiasm, and I'm sure you'll be absolutely fine. So thank you for listening, and all the best of luck with your journey.